Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all those things. All support to the channel is always very much appreciated. And in this video we are taking a look at the Fantastic Four retro wave from Marvel Legends, more specifically Psycho Man. Now for those of you that don't know about the character, I'll give you a little bit of an insight, but let's take a look at the figure itself. Now the only accessory that he comes with is his little tablet thing. I can't remember if this has actually got a specific name, but basically it's a device that can control the emotions of those around him. So obviously there's like fear, hate, doubt there written on the front. Fear, doubt, hate, sorry. But here he is Psycho Man as a figure. Now this guy is pretty insane. As far as a mould goes, it looks like a completely unique mould. There's so much articulation in here, which I was very surprised about. I thought because of these rings around his legs that it was going to limit the articulation, but the way that the guys at Hasbro have done it is they've done a ring kind of on the knee joint, so you've got full articulation of the legs, and the arms actually go up really quite high. I thought they were going to be limited by the big bulky suit, but they're not, so I'm pleasantly surprised. I was definitely going to pick this guy up just because he's such a unique mould, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I thought he was just going to sit on the shelf and not have a lot of movement to him at all. Now his head pops off quite easily. Now obviously if you're familiar with Psycho Man from the comics, this isn't actually the character himself. The character himself is microscopic, and inside this exoskeleton, this is an exoskeleton, kind of like a big robot kind of thing that he's obviously inside. In the long and short of it is he's from another universe or another dimension. I can't quite remember, but he's from somewhere else other than Earth, and when he comes over to Earth he's microscopic, so he needed to have some kind of device, or I'm gonna have to go back and read, but I'm pretty sure it's some kind of like suit or some kind of like costume that he could kind of, basically like a big robot suit, so that he can interact with people. Now what I do know is he was first around in the the late 60s, sorry. He appeared in the Fantastic Four, so obviously fits into this Fantastic Four retro line very nicely. And I've got to admit, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. I mean, he's come up along against various different people in Marvel's history. Obviously been around since the late 60s. He's obviously crossed paths with the Fantastic Four, like Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, etc. But I think he's also had run-ins with people like Black Panther. I think maybe Captain America, I'm not quite sure. I'll have to go back and have a read. But he's definitely been predominant throughout the comic books in various different storylines. I can't get over how cool this mould is. Now, when they first showed us this, I think it was Dwight on the live stream, said how crazy and unique the mould was. And he really wasn't lying. It's a really cool mould. And because he's such a kind of zany character from the 60s, they're able to kind of replicate his comic book look almost identically with these kind of metallic greens. There's metallic green all down his arms and through his belt and his headpiece, and obviously the tubes around his leg, and then the rest of it is quite white. Now I can't imagine what else they'd be able to use this mould for. I'm sure there's parts that, I'm just going to point this out, there's only one little bit of bleed on colour. You can just about see that on the toe there. That's the only place where I've got a bit of a colour bleed, which I'm really surprised about, because predominantly being white underneath, I thought there'd be a lot more of this metallic green leaking, but there wasn't. But yeah, I'm not quite sure where they would use this mould elsewhere. I'm sure they could reuse parts, but it is so unique to this character. He looks absolutely brilliant on the shelves because he just stands out against all of the others that have a lot of reused parts and a lot of reused moulds. I love it when they do these unique characters and they give them a completely fresh look, and I think they've done Psycho Man absolute justice. Would have been nice to maybe get a couple of alternate hands, or maybe like an alternate headpiece or something. I don't know, it would have been nice to have a few extra accessories. If I put High Evolutionary here as well, he is the other one from that wave, the other villain from that wave. I've done a separate video on him, so do go and check that out. But these two look really cool together. There's just something very retro looking about them, with all the kind of metallic-y looks in the arms and the dress piece there for High Evolutionary, that they just look really cool next to each other. I've kind of slept on doing these reviews because I wasn't overly fussed about opening them up. I just wanted to have a look at the retro Fantastic Four, but I'm really glad that I did get around to opening these guys up because they are very cool indeed. So that's it, that's Psycho Man. Definitely worth picking up if you're a Fantastic Four fan. If you're a Fantastic Four fan, then you'll know that he's worth having on the shelf alongside the other Fantastic Four villains and of course the team themselves. But if you're just a casual Marvel fan, then he's definitely worth picking up, and you can put him along some of the other retro figures that you have. Do go and have a look on maybe Marvel Unlimited, or try to pick up a couple of comic books, because he's quite an interesting character indeed, especially with this device thing that he has where he controls people's emotions. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say about him. If you enjoy the 5-minute figure reviews, then please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things, and do check out my page for some of the other 5-minute figure reviews I've done on Marvel Legends. But that is about it. All in all, a really surprisingly good figure that nobody asked for, but we all kind of wanted. See you next time.